Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to create a simple kind of auto-tune, bit crushery type of vocal effect. So let's take a listen at a snippet of the song so you can hear the vocal effect in context. Alright, so I'm just going to mute all the other instruments so that we can hear just the vocal. Let's just listen to this one track up here. Alright, so let's take a look at the chain down below here. So the first effect is the Waves real-time tune. And this is effectively an auto-tune plugin, but you can also tone it down so it doesn't sound too auto-tuney. In my case, I've made it extreme. So if you set the speed and the note transition all the way down, you get that kind of T-Pain extreme vocal. And then down here, I've just picked the key of the song. So in this case, F minor. So this is what it sounds like without the auto-tune. I don't wanna love you. And then with the auto-tune. I don't wanna love you. All right, the next vocal in line here is the Chipcrusher from Plogue. This is kind of a emulation of a bunch of different little lo-fi chips and speaker boxes and kind of old school toys and synths. So in this case, I'm just using a vanilla, one of the presets called Additive Fuzz. So again, let's take a listen to that vocal piece without the Chipcrusher. I don't wanna love you. And then with the Chipcrusher. I don't wanna love you. And then the last two effects are less about the actual effect of the sound and more kind of part of the mixing phase I did. So I cut the low end just so that it doesn't conflict and clash with the other instruments. And then I cut some of the high end because I wanted more of like a lo-fi-ish vibe. So again, let's listen without the EQ. I don't wanna love you. And then with the EQ. I don't wanna love you. And then finally, I run things through a compressor just to kind of even out the dynamics, because if you look at the waveform up here, the dynamics are a bit all over the place. Let's listen to it without the compressor. I don't wanna love you. And then with the compressor. I don't wanna love you. In this case, it just has an effect of making things louder because I pumped the output gain here. But overall, it's kind of squashing the dynamics a little bit just to bring out the quiet parts. And then what I did for the other one is I literally just duplicated this track down here. So we have the exact same effect, exact same settings for this other track. So in the clip properties here, I've just transposed this to -12. So if I bring this back to 0, you're gonna hear what it sounds like. I don't wanna love you. And then again, if we go here, when I pitch it down an octave, this is what it sounds like. I don't wanna love you. So two things I changed here to make this a little more pleasing to hear is I switched the algorithm to Complex Pro so we get less artifacts when we're kind of pitching things around. And then I played with this formant thing until it sounds good. So I don't wanna love you. This is just playing it by ear and setting it to around 60 I found sounds good. And then obviously there's some mixing going on here where the volume of the second track is a bit lower because I didn't want it to overpower. It was more kind of a background effect. And then I have a little less of my send reverb going to this one versus the other one. So the bass one is a little more dry because it has those bass frequencies. So I didn't want to muddy it up too much. This is what it sounds like altogether. I don't wanna love you anymore. And then finally, I've grouped the two vocal channels together. And then in the group, I've added this instance of Satin, which is kind of like a tape machine emulation. So I've just added this one preset here, didn't change it too much, set the tape to vintage and then boosted the input a little bit just to add kind of a bit more lo-fi. So in the past, I've also used this plugin called Bitspeek, which is kind of similar, but not really. It also emulates that kind of lo-fi speak and spell box. So if I bring that in here and kind of swap that out, I don't wanna love you. Of course, you can make this exaggerated here too. I don't wanna love you anymore. Yeah, similar kind of effect, but a bit different. So it's all about experimenting. I didn't really set out to create a specific sound. I was just kind of experimenting with different plugins in the chain until I found something that I kind of liked. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next.